Hello, everyone. I left my picture like it was because I'm sitting in the sun and it's not really the most attractive backdrop, but this show is going to be very in-depth. So I've had a lot of thoughts this morning. I basically just flung my hair out. I'm still in my pajamas, so whatever. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Raven Moonstone. This show is meant to put all of my thoughts on what's happening today on the full moon, September 10th, and kind of give you some opinions on things like what's happening with the full moon, some unicorn, some rainbows, some cosmic thoughts, etc. So hopefully I'll cover all the things I talked about in the caption. So I just text my friend he knows what's going on to corruption, okay? And so I think this is where we're coming to explain a lot of things that we've personally learned in 2 years in being a kind and loving way to do it, okay? So, firstly, let's cover the Elizabeth Windsor's passing, okay? I will not call her QE because I have never believed she should have been on our money my whole entire life. So I've always known that there was something wrong with people lording over other people and being on the top and we're all lower, okay? So think of the top of a triangle right now, okay? Just use the top of a triangle as because I don't have my charts in front of me. So if in chess, the queen is removed, the game's pretty much over, okay? So what that means in our matrix that's going on right now with the 3D, some of the people don't know that the Vatican has called in their loans. And so that, I wish I could have clicked back and forth between my Telegram and stuff. So basically what that means, go follow Q Rider, the Storm, or the Storm Rider, or whatever. Best information on there. And Sarah Connor has some really good information. Agent One has some really great information. And I notice I'm not getting flashed anymore, like with my screen. It's because I'm probably allowed to say these things now with fluidity. So a lot of things that are happening out in the 3D matrix, the queen has to be removed from our consciousness in a way that is easy on the people who are still sleeping. So there's a lot of people who I thought in the last 2 days, I'm like, oh my goodness, you are RIP in this person and you don't know about 1964 and Kamloops. That's the number one reason I got into finding out what was happening with Canadian children and the residential schools was because of William Coombs. So if you don't know who William Coombs is, he was one of the children that was taken in 1964 in Kamloops and by Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip and led off to do satanic ritual stuff. So 10 kids never returned. They were missing. And they were never held accountable for this. So if people don't know murderbydecree.com, please go to that and read it. Kevin has done a fabulous job since 1994 in the common law courts of basically holding all of these people accountable. So on January 15th of 2022, this year, this is why I believed all of this had to happen this year, because there's a large consciousness of people who are very aware of that website and very aware of all the atrocities that have gone on across our globe. So basically, what that means, that verdict on January 15th of 2022, is it ties Elizabeth Windsor's, the first name on that list of 75, and 10,876 corporations in the same common law court that removed Pope Benedict in 2013. These are actual, real things that have happened. So in that court, these people were all held accountable. Well, that guilty verdict. So what has to happen before a guilty verdict in a real court of law? Well, gee, there has to be charges, there has to be a court case, there has to be all of this stuff. Like, it goes on for years. This just doesn't happen overnight. Okay, you're guilty. Like, here's why you're guilty. So this has been going on from 1994 here in Canada. So the third name on that list is Justin Trudeau. So please do that research on murderedbydecree.com. Please share this video so that information alone gets out across Canada. You don't have to pay attention to anything else that I say except for that, because that is really important to help waking up your family to why it was important that her passing, Elizabeth had to pass 1,776 days after the first Q post. Okay. The announcement on September 8th that was done early, just like in 9/11 happened. They announced it in England early before the towers went down. So what we're seeing now is everybody is participating in visual matrices on the television. So we've been getting our information and fed these, what we believe is a reality. Okay. A lot of people haven't broken out of that reality to see that reality is actually a movie. The fake president down there, the clown show, is getting so blatantly obvious that it's fake. So blatantly obvious that I think if my grandparents were alive and they're like, would have been almost 100 years old, they would have been like, hey, wait a second. And they were probably going to be almost blind. So it's very obvious where the matrix has to crumble. We, as a collective consciousness, as the people who have believed in Q, the Q movement, this whole entire time, okay, who had their awakening slowly, however it happened, whether it was 30 months ago, whether it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whether it was 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. None of that is relevant to what we need to participate in now as a collective. So now we know the queen has been removed off the top of the pyramid. All right. The all-seeing eye. She has had control over the foreign corporation known as the United States of America since 1947. Okay. Since her satanic induction with her crown, and we all thought, whatever. Anyways, so what we need to experience as a collective right now, the people who are knowing that we are all one, we are here from the office of the Christ in our cosmic origins. We are here to represent organic life and stand against AI. That's as easy as it gets. There are so many news articles and truth bombs coming out there that they're so well written. I am literally proud to be a part of them. I'm like, well, if I can't send that to my family, I don't know. Like, all of it's true. All of it's true. You just take out the opinion of the person making the statement, and it's all true. You see several articles. The storm is upon us. Like, it's all over the place. So I believe, yes, the 9/11 is very pinnacle. So the people who are watching this for the first time and don't know me, I do charts and I link everything together. So I'm just going to say 9/11 and that falsehood that we were all sold visually in that matrix brought down the collective consciousness so much that it affected our Earth's vibration. Okay? So everybody is like, because we're all one. If you're sad, I'm sad. If you feel happy, I feel happy. Okay? So, like, collectively. So if we were all pushed down 21 years ago, I know everybody who's of any age remembers exactly where they were, exactly what they were doing, and exactly what they were saying when they were watching those towers come down. I know what I was saying. Those look like implosions. That's fake. Why are people jumping out of the buildings? And then boom, the plane hit, apparently. So I'm not meaning to laugh at those deaths at all. It's just how we've all been deceived and lied to. So I believe what we're all experiencing is our right to natural law. The basic principles are do not steal. That's do not steal a life, do not steal property, do not steal my time, do not steal my energy, because that leads the collective consciousness higher. So what sets us apart from the people who are experiencing those low vibes and will be ding, 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 removed off that triangle in our eyes. Attack of the Clones is coming, people. Because of where we are in our energetic cosmic belt, it's like we're getting cycled up to the top of, pretend we're all the oil vibrations of salad dressing, and the oil's being sucked off the top, and all the scummy, like, pieces of bits of stuff that don't belong are staying at the bottom, and it's going literally like this. So if you're 51% service to humanity and you're a good person, you're energetically shifting like this, whether you like it or not. And part of the reason that we had to do that before the 9th of the 9th is because today is one of the most energetic shifting full moons. It's shifting off the old dead life. If it's shifting off my old dead life, it's shifting off your old dead life. And because we're all one, it's shifting it all off together. So you can see energetically how we need to come into these higher vibrations. So when people are talking about how to get fit, how to stay healthy, how to cleanse your body, and showing you results, that's to inspire you to go out and do the same. It's not to shame you, because they love themselves and they're already sitting in this principle, knowing that we're all cosmically one. Okay? So if you're still sitting in ego and saying, hey, man, you shouldn't be doing this, that, or the other thing, you're still kind of over here in some negative vibrations of shaming, greed, guilt, whatever it is. It's not love. Love and above is the only way we're going forward. So part of the new matrix that we're all participating in, with these cosmic energies of golden love being showered upon us in our DNA is all getting cleaned up from these crappy little bits that we want to be leaving behind. It's physically showing in all of our bodies, whether it's sore back, sore hips, things toxically coming out of your body. I'm not even joking you how gross this thing and painful. I have a thing on the outer left side of my thigh that is detoxing, and it makes me sick to even think about it. It's so toxic. But I think I've had many surgeries. I've had 3 children. I've had many injections of crap into my body. So this all needs to go somewhere. And lupus, which I was diagnosed with in 1990, is just a parasite, basically a bad virus going through my body, constantly attacking itself. So it needs an exit wound. And when it finds one, it all like, all right, this is where we're all leaving to. So that's how my body works. I'm well aware of how my body works. So what's going to happen to all of us in the next little bit is we are going to enjoy each other a lot more. Our matrix that we're co-creating in happiness over here is leading us to a place that we will forget the pain and suffering that came with this other matrix. Our lessons will be integrated, just like we're integrating these lessons of what we're detoxing, to get us to a higher vibration. The royal queen had everything to do with holding us in this lower vibration. Energetically, let's just talk about that for 1 second. Okay? What's all over our money in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK? Her face. Okay? We all know her son was tied to Jimmy Savile. And they paid out $12 million to the sex scandal on Epstein. That's all like blatant information. So here in Canada, I can guarantee you most Canadians already don't like our prime minister. They don't like having to hand over tax money to a royal, to a foreign corporation who, by the way, the Vatican, the monarchy, the foreign institutions known as our governments were all sitting in this matrix that had their own laws protected. Now that she's dead, those maritime crappy laws that made us all chattel to the money in that matrix are severed. Okay? Are severed. So we need to see her being removed off of our money to get to this matrix. We need to absorb the fact that since like September or whatever in 2017, President Trump has been in control the whole time. So it's not about exactly her dying. It's about the energy in which we were kind of mind controlled into believing. That is the black magic that's being severed. I'll give you examples of how that will correlate into our lives. So if she is no longer alive, who are we doing our oath to in the military? My son took an oath. I just told this story yesterday and they were laughing at me. I'm not joking. He joined the military on March 6th of 2020. I knew what I knew. And I didn't want her picture in the back while he was taking his oath to join the military. So I was like doing this all across the room so I would get just the right glare. I'm not kidding. So you couldn't even see her face. So, and I'm sure the sergeant who was doing the oath was like, what is wrong with your mother? Like, she's just crazy town. But of course, I was blessed with 3 sons that are over 6'2". Actually, the younger 2 are 6'5.5". They're giants in my world. So yeah, I have always protection. But anyways, so what we're going through energetically, we have to experience to shed off that. And part of that is, yeah, taking her off the money. Nobody wants Prince Charles on the money, let's be honest, or Charles on the money. Nobody wants anybody else. And anybody who's awake in the last 1776 days and in that moment knows William is the Antichrist. So there's no way that we're participating in any of that. And we learned in 2020 from Greg Hallett, not Gray Palette, Greg Hallett, I almost said it myself again twice, that the guy who is claiming to be the king of UK. So all of these people who have come out and said, I'm this person, it's not about royalty. It is about telling a story to break us out of the mind control program that we were in. We used to think one way, and little by little, every little piece of information that every person gave us, whether we liked that person or not, even consistently now, whether we like that person or not, they're still giving us information. Because what Earth is an Earth, it's a hub to share information galactically. And I'll just combine all of my last little videos. We are superior genetic DNA beings in the galaxy. We have the ability, once we're cleaned up in our DNA, we have the ability to co-create new galaxies, universes. We will be beyond 15th dimension beings. Everything that I learned, especially when I went on that trip, okay, all makes sense. How everyone is here to fulfill their soul contract, whether you get the wizard giving you the information, like just pretend all of these people are like little wizards in your avatar. You're running up and they're like, okay, I'm the king of the UK and this is what I'm telling you. A million things in 2 hours of an interview. I was like blown away. But one of the things he said that has always kept me on my toes is he's like, I met Donald Trump in 1987. And then 1988, I had my Akashic records read, told a little story about that. Then I learned how to jump bodies. Then in 1989, I jumped bodies to help take down the Berlin Wall. I was like, what? How can you do that? How can that happen? And then it led me to believe that, okay, I get it. Past, present, and future are all one. Let's all talk about that for a minute. Time is an illusion. Those of us who are in that 17th letter movement queue, we know that time is an illusion. So let me ask you this. How much are we co-creating this new reality on our own? If we're still participating in he said, she said, you did this, that, they are dumb, they said this, I don't trust that person, you don't trust yourself. That's all projection. You're not sitting in your highest of intuition and love and light and connecting with source to find out what's really true in your vibration. Never mind what everybody else says. That's what's been going on with this matrix of even information. We've all been sucked in these rabbit holes, right? So if you've all been sucked into rabbit holes and you stay in, say, one particular piece of information, then that's where you get stuck. If you're trying to link it all together in your vibration and how that integrates in your DNA, then it will work. So I want to talk about how one person said Q is dark. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second. Not 1 second. There is no way on God's green earth, yeah, you heard me, God's green earth, that it would bring this many people together to work together, to critically think for themselves, to understand that we are bigger than what we are told, that we have been lied to. If you look at the Great Awakening map in full, it's all meaningful. It's all tied together. It is all strung and woven into our DNA. When we get more woken up by our cleansing of our DNA, that integration of how we learn to critically think for ourselves in the last little bit, even more at a deeper level. Some of us have been through 10 lifetimes of university in like 2 years, and that you could never regain this. And I credit a lot of that. And I personally, I'm not even joking, I've read less than 40 of the posts themselves. I'm not exaggerating. I don't even read them fully. I'm like, I just get the gist of it and go on. It's meant to integrate. It's meant to awaken. They're like little seeds to think for yourself. And because past, present, and future doesn't exist, I believe that Q is part of our collective consciousness, and we are Q. So if we're all thinking about what's going to happen to Hillary, then that's what post would appear 2 years ago, right? So now that we're beyond some of that information and we've integrated the fact that Hillary's been killed off because she was a blood drinking ghoul who murdered everyone in her way. That is an actual quote from The Guardian, right? So yeah, I'm never going to question my beliefs. I honestly question everything. That's why I'm here. We're all here to question everything, but there's certain information, when it sits true, there is nothing but that truth. That's all I have to say about that. And why I believe that is because we're all psychic. Some of us have just gotten more spiritual power pellets to deal with. So their third eye has been a little bit more awakened. We're here for different reasons. I know what I'm here for. So I can't go against what my spiritual contract has told me to do. Seriously. I had visions 2 years ago about doing things this year. How can I go backwards? You can't. Because if you think most people are linear in this timeline, going backwards is living in the past and holding negative energy. So to me, there's too many good things that have happened for too many reasons especially in the last year. There's been cease and desist orders that are fully covering every law on this planet sent out to awaken people. Whether people thought they were a hoax or not, they worked. They worked to awaken a whole pile of people. I don't give a crap what anybody says. There was grocery groups created where I believe almost $1 million was given out from person to person to help each other. There's hay donations. Thank you, Tanya. Like, there was hay donations so farmers from BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba in 2021 drought could have hay. Like $200,000 worth of hay was delivered. Then there was the food aid boxes for the BC flood people and money. Don't forget all the fundraisers that were done. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in Canada was raised to help each other. That to me is a blessing. The people that were brought together was a blessing. Whether people learned why they were there or how to integrate the lessons of why we're here, that's not for me to say. I'm not here to hold anybody else's hand for it or answer to anybody else. I'm here for me and what I know to be my soul contract. So, I'm just reading. Yeah, there was more division created than ever in history. In the last 2 years, yeah, for a lot of reasons. There's more division created in the last 2 years. So if people understood that in this 3D matrix, okay, we'll just keep them over here, a nice high-flying hand, and then angry little fist over here. So if people were to realize that the division had at 111, the division had to be created so you would awaken yourself. Are you going to sit and argue with people and let someone still have dominion over you? Or are you going to talk about how you stand in your power? And I don't mean going and yelling at people or honking your horns in Ottawa for 6 weeks. I don't mean that. All of these movements had purpose. Every single person had purpose in the story. So the division was created so people would awaken, and both sides use that division, just to be clear, because the good people, okay, the 5D people who are playing this chess game where the king is protected by 2 knights right now in a couple of pictures. Everything is symbolic and everything has meaning and there's no coincidences. So if we're all energetically shifting over here in the 5D and they're playing 5D chess, are people in 5D chess really going to say, hello, bad guys, we're going to do XYZ and it's going to be ABC and you're going to get LMNOP because we're Q? No, that's not what's happening. Even the people who are so into the whole thing of decoding and deciphering have no idea or timeline of when it actually happens. So yes, the next 17 days are important because of where the moon is, because of where we are consciously. There's 100 million people or more that believe in that 17th letter movement. And they're not bad people. They're here all about save the children. These are all the people who are hurting the children. So again, how can that be energetically bad? That doesn't make any sense to me, because we are the matrix we co-create. So if 100 million people believe that Trump's the president, and the Federal Reserve has been taken down in 2018, and the Queen's been dead for a long time, and Hillary's been dead for a long time, and Barack's been dead for a long time, Big Mike's been dead for a long time. All of these people have been taken care of. And we are watching the movie like, yeah, ha, 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 ha. That looks like a lizard. So September 8th, why that date in UK? First of all, it's 9/9 in Australia and New Zealand, where she's on their money, and she also took their lands. But 9/8 was the date start of Diana's funeral, so 9/08. So that's the ha ha ha. People think this isn't in all of this information that we've learned about. It is. We've integrated it. Some people just scroll through the information and get it like from their wizard, and some people are like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense right now, and they stop. Cognitive dissonance. That's not happening. That's not real. You're crazy. Whatever. I'm not saying my opinion is right to everyone. But the people who are listening that are like, okay, yeah, this is making sense, you're going to keep listening. The people who are like, whoa, this girl's talking crazy talk, would have turned it off probably in the first 2 minutes. So whatever. So it's all it is, a show, and we have to watch that show play out. So that's literally where we're at right now. And energetically, we should all be participating in co-creating this love, and we're free. We are living in 1776 times. All the executive orders have come to pass. We have been in state of emergency since November 3rd, 2020. All of these things have happened. All of these things have happened in that timeline of 3D. But because people who co-create in a 5D matrix, you, lovers of love and light, soul contract igniters, you're going to say, we are all one. We are free. There is love and light and healing for all. There is a consciousness higher that we deserve. As humans, we energetically need to have free electricity. We energetically need to be free of the money matrix. We energetically need to be free of human slavery. That's from the maritime laws capturing our birth certificates. So why the yellow brick road? Let's talk about Wizard of Oz. Many of you people know the analogy, but those who are new and again tuning in, this is when the curtain's been drawn back a long time ago. And ding dong, the witch is dead is literally when the house falls on the witch. There is no better. There's ruby slippers on the witch. All right. What happens? Dorothy takes those slippers and puts them on her feet. Why red slippers? Well, it's representative of humans and blood. That's why. The yellow brick road represents all the gold they've stolen from us. Our straw man is what's tied to our birth certificates. That's what our birth certificates were called. Basically, they have money tied to them as bonds. Will we see that kind of thing? I don't think so. I think it's going to be better than any of us can energetically expect. I don't think we're going to see some of the things like exactly manifest how we thought. It'll be like, what the heck just happened? What the heck just happened? What did we create? So I posted a video about a guy talking about on my Facebook on how 15% of us really can control what's going on with the rest of the matrix. That's why it's really important to focus on those higher vibrations right now and leave your negative thoughts of whatever you were thinking before negatively in that divisive, because right here, this was controlled by silent weapons for quiet wars. Every single divisive thing on the planet, look it up, read that document. It was found on July 7th, 1986 in a photocopier, in an IBM photocopier in an airplane hangar. This guy found this document called that, and it's literally the Cabal's plan to take down the entire organic race in the 3D matrix. Divide us, stab us, jab us, and then shut us all off. Literally, their plan was if we got jabbed and all that technology was turned on, we cough, and they literally could push a button that would make us poop our pants and barf and fall on the sidewalk right there, dead, just like in a game. We're going to kill your avatar. Bye, you coughed. So, know those programs of fear-based are done. That's what yesterday, the 9th of the 9th, was all about. Shutting off those fear-based control measures, whether it be from money control, whether it be from energy control, we have all been stolen from in our natural law of one. So if we all behaved like starlings do, and they're flapping their wings by every beat of their flap of their wings, they're voting where to go, which direction. They work all organically. We do the same. We're no different. So if you haven't watched the documentary I Am on Gaia TV, please go do that. It's Netflix. It's Tom Shadyack's I Am. It's very important right now. Energetically, we're moving to a place that there is no acceptance of stealing of anything anymore. The Yellowbrook Road ends with the Queen being dead. Period. 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 End of story. So we have to shift into this natural vibration where we don't accept lower things anymore. There will be no more talk of rape in the future. There will be no more murder. There will be no more of these things that we were programmed because we lived hell on earth. Period. That's what the 2,000 years of darkness. So I think a lot of, again, there you are talking about the information hub when you're not extracting information. So someone's making, oh, Gaia's dark or whatever on the comments. Again, you're talking about where the information is being held. It's all in the dark. We're in the dark right now on YouTube. Like, the owner of YouTube is crappy. Yeah, but I'm not crappy. So that's all I have to say about that. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's many people who are giving you a message, whether they're on the dark side, being controlled by the white side, like white hats, giving you the information in a dark way, just so it wakes up some people that are still sleeping, still not getting some of the information into their consciousness. Whether it's people who are over here energetically, and 80% of what they're telling you is awesome, and 20% is like, what the heck is that person doing? Why are they telling me this stuff? It makes no sense. That person must be bad, or they did this in their past. Okay? So again, past, present, future are all in the same timeline. So in essence, energetically, if we're good people right now, and we're sitting as our highest vibration, and we know we're going energetically to a higher vibration in the future, where we're going to have a higher vibration, then technically you're healing your past, right? Because they all exist in the same timeline. So people who are releasing triggers know that your past lives are being fixed and you're passed from this biological meat suit, technically. That's just my thoughts with that. So, and yes, future proves past. So anyways, yes, numerology. And think about it galactically, you guys. I always have this feeling that, okay, when we do awaken to the real power of who we are, and galactically, then we would realize that this lifetime, like me being 53 right now, and what I've experienced is literally probably a 10-minute job in another galaxy that I came here just to affect change. So because it's for the collective consciousness. So as above is below. So everything that we do on Earth, it affects the metaverse and the universe. That's why it's really important to co-create a better reality than the one we were living in. I live in a reality where everybody has houses, everybody has electricity, everybody has food, everybody has transportation. Everybody lives freely to go visit their family and practice their soul contract of why you're here. Part of my soul contract that I've been brought here, and even if you read my birth chart, it will literally say everything that I am doing now. She can be bossy, but her bossiness is kind of odd comparatively to others. She believes in the personal freedom for all, and she doesn't care how that person experiences that personal freedom, just as long as they're free. I'm not even kidding you. True story. So I truly do believe we are all here to be free and happy and loving and experience the joy of all the children, of all of the lessons that we have learned along the way, because we are galactically, genetically superior. We come from 22 superior galactic races, super races, and they were super beings then. So just think of how genetically powerful you are and how dumbed down we've been. Step into your smartness, integrate these lessons. Don't take anything personally. That's the worst thing you can do. Unless you're figuring out how to get rid of that trigger, do not take anything personally. And us as light workers, get over shaming someone for the information they're giving it. If it doesn't sit on your vibration, I've been saying this for 30 months. Move on. Don't you realize that you're like holding your progress down with every negative vibration that you hold on to? It's like a fish hook in your mouth. Business coach told me this long time ago. So say you're starting a business and your company is to put out a movie. Oh, pretty accurate now. Put out a movie and you're the producer of this movie. And you have people that you don't necessarily like working with, but they just do a heck of a job every single time. You're like, man, that guy's kind of a turd with how he gets it done, but man, he's efficient. I don't really want to do it his way. I want to do it my way. But my way works for this part of the movie. But I recognize the fact that he does it his way. So you have the end goal in mind the same. But this girl over here, Becky, no offense to Becky, or Karen, let's just use Karen. Karen over here is constantly complaining and about the end of the movie, how the movie's going to end, where we're going to be when we get there. Like, I don't really buy into it, blah, 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 blah. Karen is a fish hook in your mouth, like pulling you back because it's self-doubt. It's self-doubt about your power. And whether Karen be energy tied to money, to how we were programmed in the lack, when we all know that we're free of money here. So we need to co-create that end movie very clearly, a picture in our mind very clearly of how that movie ends. Because we all know we're free now, energetically from the matrix, you know. We've waited for this moment for a long time, okay? In the linear 3D. It's 1, 2, 3. So funny. So, basically what we're going through is, shedding of our old selves and moving forward into the new paradigm. So the galactic races are here helping us. We don't see them. The reason we don't see them is because we're not energetically cleaned up enough. When our computers go back to the movie Lucy, I talked about it a few years ago. When our DNA is fully activated, we're almost like liquid computer. We're another form. So when we realize and experience full activation, we can experience so much other stuff. So yeah. Anyways, but I can't really talk about the specific details, but with who you're discussing. But again, every story, every purpose, there's no way people would have come across Canada to do what they did for humankind if they weren't energetically of high vibration, or if it wasn't for some particular reason. I personally would have never gone. So that's all I can say about that. There was things that were co-created 2 years before in several conversations with several people, whether it was dreams, remote viewing, whatever you want to call it. The reality of the first few months of my life this year, and who many of you are asking about now, was the fact that I did partly co-create that reality. So I can't get into any more details, but energetically, you know what? You're all going to know soon enough, and you'll be like, oh, that's all I can say about that. So let's talk about the fake one for a second. Lizard. The other day, the day before her announcement, I actually got 2 cards that came out in the reading, and it was the Queen and Absolute Truth. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I got Disruption card, and yeah. So anyways, I picked 3 cards here while I was talking, and oh, I love it. The Owl, Love, and Protection. So that's exactly. So that's pretty much it right there in Deception and Wisdom in the Owl. I always see the owl as I have it in my totem, and excuse me, I'm going to get the hiccups. It's you can see the bullshit in others. That's what the owl medicine means. So we're going to be having a huge amount of wisdom imparted on us, and love, unconditional love. So those who are sitting in unconditional love and high vibrations right now and just saying, you know what, I still love you, Lizard. Thanks for all of the lessons in this 3D matrix to just shed us from that. Her role was to shed us from this corporation. When you really think about the game of chess, we had to experience her to get rid of all of the old AI ways. That was their leader in the visual world on our money. So now that that's removed, excuse me. No, I haven't seen that yet, Arlene. She's asking me about Kevin Annette's Farewell to Lizard Breath. And you know, I could have never said that name on my live stream before without it being shut down. So who knows how long this video is going to last, because I still believe I have control over it. It's going to last forever because I haven't had one glitch yet. But basically what's happening is pretty much this. We're having unconditional love, and all of our galactic protectors are standing around us, watching us and helping us experience the shift that's about to happen. And with a full moon and the death of our old bodies and them Operation Unicorning and rainbows over top of Buckingham Palace and all the magnificent numbers that are going on, I do think it's like I put the geometria in for London Bridges Down, and I don't know if you know what geometria is, but just go look it up. And it literally came out with nothing but light from here on out, or something to that effect, and so positive. I was just like, thank goodness. Like, a lot of things are making sense even more, and I don't know why. I don't know if I dreamt about it and then all of a sudden woke up and now it's in my memory, like I'm being allowed to remember more, or I'm letting myself remember more. Either way, I'm asking to remember a little bit more of what's happening while I'm sleeping. So I suggest maybe everybody do that too, but please put yourself in protection. And I always say, galactic brothers and sisters of divine love and light, just please protect me and my karma, my motorhome, and the property and those around and whatever, and just start that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a prayer. So, oh, you had a rainbow in Waterloo, Ontario. But the rain stopped 6 hours earlier. You know, I've been seeing rainbows out here in like the strangest of places. So I feel like I live in a very magical area right now. It's like right on the edge of the Badlands. That's about as much information as I'd give you. And I do feel this sense of peace and community like I've never felt before. So many people are being so loving. And I'm trying to get into a place where I have my own YouTube studio and like a house. And I also have the bottom as an art gallery and place to art to not only the community, but maybe some of you if you're on your travels. So, yeah, that's what my goal is right now. And I was just kind of laughing at, even the money matrix that we're jumping out of and how crazy those programs were, and those belief systems. And I'm glad slowly I worked to get away from a lot of that programming, and part of it helped because I worked in the mortgage business for uh, many years, and understand that our mortgage money, as soon as we sign those mortgage papers and generate that loan, money's created. Number one, there's no money needed for that loan. You wouldn't have to earn extra money to pay that mortgage, put it that way. Your boss wouldn't have to pay you if you didn't have that loan, right? That's how it works. So basically, if we're moving to a place energetically where mortgages don't sell your mortgage to an insurance company that makes you get insurance and pay ridiculous premiums all year, and then if you have a claim, screws you around for months on end. That's how it works. I also worked in the insurance business, believe it or not, and the computer business, all for reasons, again, going with my soul contract of having to learn many jobs to have insight and intel into how things operate. And if there's one thing I do know that I can tell you, is McAfee has it all and he ain't dead. So there. Um, when can I speak about that person? Well, when the 4-letter group of the foreign corporation, hello, I know you're watching, doesn't have me on paperwork being under investigation. So when that's not an issue, then I don't care. I have nothing to hide. Honestly, nothing to hide. I did nothing wrong at all. I just happened to see a lot and hear a lot. That's all. And it wasn't, I'm never ever going to say anything bad. So if people are expecting me to lower my vibrations over here, it's not going to happen. So those screaming about whatever, my job ended with that person on March 5th. I left nicely. I bowed out because of my physical health. That's all I can say about that. So, however, everything else played out, I'm literally detached. I really don't know much about anything. So, people keep trying to drag me over to this place, and I'm like about negative energy. And I see no point. I see no value. And I think it's hypocritical after 2 years or plus of me loving on all of you to sit here and talk crap about people. No, I just feel like some of it was like Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, Tiny Home that never got videotaped, simply put. So that's all I can say. So a lot of things that, oh, this or that, or blah, 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 or they are this or they are that. Again, every person, including yourself, has a role to play in this great awakening. Think of us like flapping sparrow wings right now, right? And starlings. We're all voting with how we decide to raise our vibration. If you're constantly sitting here, like this is how I explained it a long time ago with negative energy. I'll just talk about negative energy, okay? Go back to the movie Caddyshack where the guy throws a chocolate bar into the swimming pool and people are like, Dewey! And they all jump out of the pool, right? Let's just imagine if that was a real shit, okay? Look, somebody shit in the pool. There's negative energies over there. I don't like it. That's disgusting. And they sit there and talk about that shit in the pool for months or days or years on end. What is the purpose to you? Why are you energetically tied to the vibrations over here. So this is what we're learning about integration and shedding off those old vibrations, is if you're still talking about something that brings you negativity to you yourself personally, you have a computer virus in you that was programmed that just really needs to be taken out and examined, the root cause. Some of us have abandonment issues. Some of us have high school triggers and traumas where people were assholes to us. A lot of us never fit in because we were light workers. And when you're in a school, you're just programmed to be, just shut up, listen, don't talk, don't be outbursting, don't be a comedian, don't get chalkboard brushes thrown at your head repeatedly. Don't have rulers slapped on your desk because you're talking out loud. So these are programs that we are shedding out. So if you're constantly being negative to someone, whether it be how they're getting in shape or how they're cleaning their body out or why they go to therapy or what they're doing with their life, you're still sitting over here energetically instead of saying, why is this pissing me off? That's if it's a you problem. If you're angry about something, money, energy problems, what about money? Money is just an energy flow. Okay. And I don't mean like you're drowning in debt. I get all of the things people are experiencing in 3D world right now. Inflation, food costs, people are starving right now, right? Some of us have already experienced a lot of that loss early on in our life. Like I've been a patronage of the food bank in my early life and older life. Like I've been homeless a number of times. Once with my kid, it was not fun. So some of us energetically have to realize that money is energy and it can be used for good, but we're still programmed to have this lack mentality or be negative because one of the things that I noticed this year that brought out a lot of negativity, and I'm just going to bring up a point, is donations. Why is that person getting all that money when there's starving children in Africa or Canada or whatever, right? But here for years, we've donated $6 billion to the Red Cross and never phoned up the Red Cross once and said, what did you do with my 20 bucks I gave you at the mall for the last 20 months? You suckered me into paying 20 bucks a month for the last 5 years. What'd you do with that money? So where are you? Energy goes where energy flows. So if you're sitting here being attached to those energies that are driving you and being triggered to be angry constantly, then just think of it as dead weight. How can I get this dead weight off of me so it's not weighing me down? And the people who are doing their very hard spiritual work right now and really saying, is that my problem? Like, one of the things I've been experiencing is I'm in a community full of people and it's a small community. And I will energetically feel somebody else's vibration and be sitting here and having a talk with my taco and going, I don't know, is this mine? I don't normally feel like this. And boo, what's going on? And feeling the earth's vibration energetically. And I'll read my cards and I'm like, well, it's not really mine. So I've got to shift out of the vibrations that are trapping me into whatever that was and move over here. So, and I really appreciate Taco for all of her hard work. Anyways, yeah, because we talk about triggers all the time. And so do our kids. They're really awesome. Been rafting with them a few times. They're pretty funny. Anyways, but we all need to shift over here and co-create. Yes, we are of love and light. That was the old life. Bring in the new paradigm, bring in the new energy where we are all one happily in peace and love and unconditional. So yeah, everybody's been born here for a purpose. So yeah, I'm just reading some messages here. Yeah. And yeah, I had to take some time off. I just see the last bit of the comment. The true Raven is here. I've never changed. Physically, my body went 15,000 kilometers this year. That's in the last 7 years, I've traveled 16 countries and probably, I don't even know how many thousands of kilometers. I've been sleeping on airport floors and in very high radiated areas across Europe in 2019. I got very sick at the end of 2019. In between, I lost my friend, had a severe PTSD moment. But all of these caused me to shed off that old skin of how they were trying to control me and keep me down, because I really do believe that the darkness knew how powerful I was to get my message out there. And I say this without ego. I say this completely without ego. In 2011, 2012, I had to experience a big shedding of myself as well. And I recognize there's certain times in your life where you're literally going to the avatar and leveling up and going, this sucks. I don't want to be in this shift anymore. So you shift yourself. And I go back to this wise old rabbi talking about the lobster. Humans are like lobsters in a way. When lobsters get uncomfortable, they go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and they molt off their shell. And that's ultimately what we do when we spiritually level up. So when we're uncomfortable and we're angry and we're constantly in that like anxiety, you have to figure out what part of that shell is making you uncomfortable so you can accept these crystalline codes and without more pain and without more suffering. So some of the things that who we are, we feel guilty for. We feel guilty for naturally wanting to feed people or naturally wanting to help people, or why? That is who we all are. If you can help one brother, one sister, just get that information or help them live a better life or eat a better dinner or whatever, you're already participating in these. Those are energetic shifts and gifts of creating that new world. And I kept getting the Alchemist and the Bard. And for the last week, those two cards came up and everybody's reading. It didn't matter if you were my friend, read my cards. Those two cards kept coming up. I think they came up on the show. And it is about storytelling and interweaving how we woke up to create this new paradigm. Like, it's going to be so cool, like, hey man, I was with you. I was so blind, and then I like saw this and that and now this, and let me tell you how easy it is. It was just like, if you can just get your head around the fact that the queen was not a nice person, wasn't even a person. They were just people that did not, in skin suits, that did not have consciousness. We have consciousness. So the people who have high consciousness and are co-creating have literally squashed that queen. All of us have energetically participated in that. It's not just Trump and the king. And all of us have energetically participated to end that timeline narrative, finally. Okay? We've all participated in it. So however we have to work these things out to move forward, we must do them now. Like, this is the full moon. So it's like the earth getting like the blanket. Lets all the old shells go. Let's all your old shells go. Nature mates, sheds, dies, a lot of shifting on this. And this is really when I believe we're going to see all the clones die. Attack of the clones. Boop. Push a button and watch them all go. Woo, and they shut off. So, this is where we're at. And honestly, for you all people who are watching and who have known me since April 27th, 2020, when I started doing my YouTubes, or even before that, and you're my friends, before that. This is always who I am, but there's a big part of myself who I do self-preserve because I don't believe I need to constantly be on here promoting myself. I'm not saying that's bad. That's not what I'm saying. Just for me personally, there's only so much energy I can give out and manage. And then I'm a Cancer, so I go just over to the side for a little while, and then I come back and talk. So it's literally about integrating every part of the lesson. And physically, I had to integrate like a lot of warrior energy like a lot of physical warrior energy that I did not expect so this year to exert. So for me, it's been a very healing journey in 2022, and a lot of what's coming out in the information is now, it's already been integrated, so it's not hurtful or harmful, and we should be integrating it with love and protecting people too. Back to the cards, like we should be giving them protection and wisdom, and say, you know, like if you're feeling crappy vibes, go outside and stomp your feet for a while. Like the earth can take that vibration. If you're feeling crazy, you know, go to the river and let out all your crazy talk and say I love you and I forgive you, and forgive yourself. We're all integrating these. This is dirty computer. So just think of, just energetically, if you could, and McAfee pushed a button and all the information's floating out there for everybody to see, and we don't have censorship, and this video gets to see 100,000, 2 million people, whatever. Wouldn't that be magical? Because energetically, we all co-created the truth to come out in some way, right? So we're all loving that. And by the way, if you haven't watched that Running with the Devil by McAfee, or whatever, not by McAfee, but it is an awesome documentary, and I totally empathize with the guy in the overalls. So very funny. So one question can I ask? It could have gone faster. No, I don't think some of the people, and remember the children. So I want this to be like, and I don't mean this with, we were all those children that were trafficked before. All of us have been in that energetic loop. We have all had those lessons integrated a long time ago into our DNA. I do believe that. That's just my opinion. And the children that were down or in the tunnels and trafficked, to be honest, their soul contract was there to be a part of the awakening. So there is a high honor for many lives, many super soldiers, many people who have given their lives to get this message out. And that is all part of the Great Awakening energetically. Energetically, that is all part of the Great Awakening. A lot of this stuff, this has been going on for 2,000 or more years on our planet. This narrative of sacrifice, and it must end. So energetically, these soul contracts were about living that. Do you remember what we did in our former lives? No, a lot of that pain is left over here in this negative vibration. So, but the lessons that were like, hey, we're here to kill off these bad guys, these AI, those are integrated, and those are all genetically still from our original DNA. That's why we're here, is because genetically we know we're supposed to fight the AI. That's why we're here. So every lesson, say, we learn about that is just another integration. So some of it pained us so bad at the beginning, we were crying and felt energetically in a lower vibration. So now that we are getting these cosmic energies and going closer to the photon belt, where we're in a totally different system than we were before. More light, more love. These things don't exist. So we're going through basically the cosmic inner washing machine, if you will. And those are all going away and will never to be seen or heard by anything like that again. We'll probably have one more galactic battle, I've heard, in 1,000 years. I've heard that repeatedly, but we win that one because we're all much more genetically superior, and we're more work together, and the law of one, and brotherly love, and let no man, basically, where we go one, we go all. That's what the whole meaning it is. That's our collective consciousness. So I hope this video makes sense to everybody. I hope it was entertaining, and I don't know, I might later, because it's the full moon, and I kind of want to make this fun video. I have this like comedy skit going on in my head, because I just went to 3D comedy where race was talked about, like a lot. And I was like, man, this is so bad of programming. I don't know if and I was just laughing like, ha 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 ha. Like I almost felt like I was a laughing, like ha 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 ha, like because it was so stupid. So I have this idea that I'm going to do a little comedy routine based on Raven being like this galactic cosmos person that you guys are stuck over here, you men in 3D, just talking about your crap on Tinder. Like, so over it. Don't you know we're billions of years old? And I'm waiting to find my cosmic love, you know, that Palladian that will look me in the eyes 20 times while he opens the door and makes sweet, sweet love to me and nobody would ever notice. You know, that kind of comedy. So guys can get out of their 3D meat suits about lying how tall they are on Tinder. Not that I'm on Tinder. I'm not. I'm just using that as a joke. It's all humor. Like, this is seriously, I've been single for a long time and I'm here cosmically to wake people up and spread a message. I don't need none of that in my life right now. I'm just kidding. A Syrian would be nice. Oh, yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm just like seriously out to make fun because it's just some of that energy is so old. The men need to be, some of these men that were doing the comedy need to have their programs erased, like at a really energetic level. Like seriously, delete, delete, or take it out and make so much fun of that they never want to take it out again. It's like, seriously, dude. Seriously. Anyways, I love you guys all. Have a wonderful day and co-create that reality, that nice, beautiful matrix, and love yourselves and love your neighbors and help everybody as much as you can, because that's just going to raise our higher vibrations. So I hear what you're putting down. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.